Got to do the old hand adjustment, hand brightness adjustment, you know? The hand brightness adjustment. So, welcome back to the channel. I'm so excited to have you here with me. So excited to be having this dialogue, monologue. We're talking, but it's only me talking, you know? And it's like you're behind the camera, but I'm still talking to you, even though I'm just talking to my phone. All that fun stuff. So I'm really excited to be back. As you can see, we changed our name to Truthful Living. Much better than Evolved Thought, I think. I think it's pretty cool that there's just one L in Truthful Living. Pretty sure that like shows that we're really cool instead of just putting two L's. But yeah, I'm really excited to be back. Extremely excited. It is May 26th, 2021. And I'm really excited because I'm starting a new series. So I didn't just come back for no reason. Come on, like, I'm not just going to come back and just do the same shit, you know? I will be doing some of the same shit, but the reason I came back is because I picked up a brand new book, new to me, not new to most spiritual seekers, but it is A Course in Miracles. So this book is, it's basically, well, it says it right here, it's a foundation for inner peace. And I'm going to be taking you guys through my experience of it, my interpretation of it. I'm not just going to read it to you, because if you wanted to read it, then you would just buy it and read it. But I'm assuming that since you're watching this, you want my interpretation, or at least are bored at home and have nothing else to do. So you're just, you know, yeah, sure, let's watch this guy's YouTube video, whatever. Either way, I appreciate you being here. I'm super excited for this because it is what my soul has been longing for a long time. I got Truth versus Falsehood by David Hawkins, and that was killer. But I really wanted like a direct, like step-by-step way to find inner peace and spiritual seeking and find, you know, the truth and stuff. Not only find it and know it, but be it. So I think this is going to be the way. The author is Dr. Helen Schumann, but the point is, it's not even on the front or the side. The point is that it doesn't really matter who wrote it. In truth, it's the Holy Spirit that wrote it. Real quick correction on that. First of all, her name's Ellen Schuckman. I said Schumann in the video, and I'm correcting it to say Schuckman, but then I say Schumann again, so that's nice. But yeah, Pablo hit me with this correction. Shout out to him. Bless up. It was not actually the Holy Spirit. It was Christ consciousness that gave her inner dictation to tell her exactly what to write word for word. And she actually didn't have really any say in what was written. Helen was actually an atheist, and on her deathbed they asked her about the book, and she said, "Don't ask me about that book, I didn't write it." So, real quick correction, back to the video. I'm going to be basically taking you through my interpretation of it. There's three sections. There's the text, which is the information section, where it's essentially, that's like the lectures version, basically. If you think of it like school, it's like the lectures where it's just learning information. And then the second section is the workbook for students, which is what I'm going to be completing through the course of the series. And then there's the workbook for teachers that we might go over at the end, but we're going to mainly focus on the text and the workbook for students. So the workbook for students is 365 lessons. You're supposed to do one lesson a day right when you wake up, so I'm going to try to stick to that. Hopefully by the end of around next year, or maybe in a year and a half, I will completed. I will have completed the workbook for students, because some of them you might want to do, you know, one lesson might take you 2 days to practice. It won't take me sooner than a year though, because you can only do one lesson a day. So I guess it depends on how the lessons are, or what the lessons are like, whether I'm going to do like one video, one lesson, or just kind of do 5 in a row or 3 in a row and then give you like the summary of what I've learned or how I've experienced it. We'll just play it by ear, you know, go with the flow. I'm not a rapper. That was fucking awful. I don't even know why you're still here. if you didn't click out right when I said that, then I really don't know what to tell you. But yeah, I'm going to be going through the text as well. So I'm going to do the lesson in the morning, read the lesson in the morning, practice it throughout the day. And when I have free time, I'm going to read through the text. It's definitely not a light read. The text is almost, it's like 680 pages. And yeah, but it's pretty cool. So I'm probably going to be reading it a good amount. Hopefully I can give you guys the best interpretation that I can muster by trying to understand it the best I can. I don't know why I keep showing it, because I already showed you it, but yeah, I'm really excited. I hope you guys are too. So it's May 26th, 2021. I've already completed lessons 1 and 2. Well, I'm working on lesson 2 today. But I'm just going to give you guys some background on the book, just to kind of explain. Just to kind of, excuse me, I should have cut that out, but I won't, because I wanted you to see that and hear it and experience that with me. So yeah, I'm going to basically go over the preface and kind of give you like some context on what it's all about. So basically, I'll just give you, this is a book series, so be prepared for a little bit of reading. I'd say, as you're listening to me read, so you don't drift off. I mean, it's fine if you drift off, you can do whatever you'd like, but I'd say just as you're listening or watching this, or listening or watching or listening, just, kind of just take long, deep breaths and focus on the air going in and out, and don't try to focus on me, just focus on yourself as I'm reading. It'll make the comprehension a little bit easier. I don't know why I'm telling you how to listen. That's pretty fucking stupid of me. But with that said, I'm going to give you a little bit of context on the book. So the curriculum of the course proposes the curriculum. I'm probably going to stumble a good amount, but I won't cut it out, just so you're getting that raw content from me. So the curriculum the course proposes is carefully conceived and is explained step by step at both theoretical and practical levels. It specifically states that a universal theology is impossible, but a universal experience is not only possible, but necessary. So I think from my interpretation of that, I'm going to be saying that a lot, because I can't tell you what it means. I can only tell you how I perceive it. I'm going to do my best to accurately perceive it and interpret it, but I always have to give the disclaimer, this is my interpretation. It's basically saying that these lessons are things that you apply. It's not really just an ideology where it's all conceptual and you learn it and you know about it. It's really about taking it in and applying it experientially, as opposed to carrying it in your mind as food for mental arguments and holding it as like a position, or as like your own ideology. Although Christian in statement, the course deals with universal spiritual themes. It emphasizes that it is but one version of the universal curriculum. There are many others, this one differing from them only in form. They all lead to God in the end. Basically giving you a disclaimer that it uses Christian vocabulary, so it's going to use words like the Father and the Son, Creator and creation. It's going to say the Holy Spirit, and talking about Christ consciousness, Christ mind, but basically saying that it's only one version of the universal spiritual theme of self as creation. I guess that's how I would put it. If it's talking about like God, if it says God and not self or Allah, like it doesn't really matter. It's referring to the same thing basically. The text section is largely theoretical and sets forth the concepts on which the course's thought system is based. Its ideas contain the foundation of the workbook's lessons. Without the practical application of the workbook, instead of doing that, I should just stop when I mess up and then continue, because I know you don't care if I mess up. It's only me. It's all in my head. I'm in Mark's room by myself talking to a phone, so I don't really know why I'm worried if I get my tongue twisted. So let us continue. Without practical application the workbook provides, the text would largely remain a series of abstractions which would hardly suffice to bring about the thought reversal at which the course aims. So what I get from that is that the text/lectures, I guess you can think of it that way, the information section is largely abstract and theoretical information, and the workbook is based on applying the theory of the text. So they kind of go together, which is why as I go through the lessons, I'm also going to be reading the text as much as possible. Hopefully, my approach is the appropriate one for maximal in the whole spirit domain. Some of the ideas the workbook presents you will find hard to believe, and others may seem quite startling. This does not matter. You are merely asked to apply the ideas as you are directed to do. You are not asked to judge them at all. You are asked only to use them. It is their use that will give them meaning to you and will show you that they are true. Remember only this: you need not believe the ideas, you need not accept them, and you need not even welcome them. Some you may actively resist. None of this will matter or decrease their efficacy, but do not allow yourself to make exceptions in applying the ideas the workbook contains, and whatever your reaction to the ideas may be, use them. Nothing more than that is required. Don't question it, just do it. Don't let your preconceived notions get in the way of the learning. So I think for the rest of this episode, I'm just going to I don't know if I should call them that. This I guess episode is fine. I don't know why I'm whatever. I don't know why episode. No, it doesn't sound right. I wonder what should. No, they're episodes, obviously. But I'm not going to say episode 1, episode 2. I might just put A Course in Miracles, ACIM, number 1, number 2, or Preface, or I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I guess we'll see. I guess you'll see by the title of the video how I'm going to denote the episodes. So, this is going to be the preface episode, though, so I'm just going to quickly, it's not too long, it's like three pages. I'm going to kind of pick out key points to kind of let you understand with me as I understand it and go through it, how this text and book should be seen, perceived, learned, and all that good stuff. So, this is how the course begins. Nothing real can be threatened, nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. I'll go one more time and then I'm going to start reading the actual preface. This has actually been the preface, but now it's actually starting to explain A Course in Miracles and what its fundamental principles are. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. This is how A Course in Miracles begins. It makes a fundamental distinction between the real and the unreal, between knowledge and perception. Knowledge is truth under one law, the law of love or God. So love and God are synonymous. Truth is unalterable, eternal, and unambiguous. It can be unrecognized, but it cannot be changed. It applies to everything that God created, and only what He created is real. It is beyond learning because it is beyond time and process. It has no opposite, no beginning and no end. It merely is. The world of perception, on the other hand, is the world of time, of change, of beginnings and endings. It is based on interpretation and not on facts. It is the world of birth and death, founded on the belief in scarcity, loss, separation, and death. It is learned rather than given, selective in its perceptual emphasis and emphases, unstable in its functioning, and inaccurate in its interpretation. So, pretty self-explanatory. I don't really think I need to summarize every single paragraph. Hopefully this is nice and entertaining for those of you who enjoy my silky smooth voice reading. I don't know why. I'm just going to continue. You know what? I'm going to cut that part out. Or maybe I won't. I guess it depends if you saw it. Okay. When you have been caught in the world of perception, you are caught in a dream. You cannot escape without help, because everything your senses show merely witnesses to the reality of the dream. I don't really get that, but it's okay. God has provided the answer, the only way out, the true helper. It is the function of His voice, His Holy Spirit, to mediate between the two worlds. He can do this because while on the one hand He knows the truth, on the other He also recognizes our illusions, but without believing in them. It is the Holy Spirit's goal to help us escape from the dream world by teaching us how to reverse our thinking and unlearn our mistakes. I guess what that paragraph is talking about is discernment between knowing the truth and then seeing the illusions for what they are, instead of, because it says nothing unreal exists. Well, if nothing unreal exists, then how do you even succumb to the illusions? Well, I guess that's what it's saying is it's like the discernment of God or the discernment of the Holy Spirit rather in you that helps you to see, you can recognize the illusion without believing in it. The world we see merely reflects our own internal frame of reference, the dominant ideas, wishes, and emotions in our minds. Quote, projection makes perception. We make it true by our interpretations of what it is we are seeing. If we are using perception to justify our own mistakes, our anger, our impulses to attack, our lack of love in whatever form it may take, we see a world of evil, destruction, malice, envy, and despair. I guess what that paragraph is saying is you see the world as you are. You don't see the world as it is. So I guess the main thing, I don't know, from what I've gathered so far, what the course is saying is that God created a perfect world, and nothing imperfect can exist. So any evil that you see out there you can automatically recognize that it's projection from your own misinterpretation, because how can it be imperfect out there if God created a perfect world, basically? Yeah, I guess the main point is projection makes perception, and that we look inside first, decide the kind of world we want to see, and then project that world outside, making it the truth as we see it. So you make your own world, basically. The mistake is to think that the imperfections are out there, autonomously out there, already self-existently imperfect. As we learn to recognize our perceptual errors, we also learn to look past them or forgive. So I think this is really based on forgiveness. So the goal of this text is to reach unconditional love, which is to forgive everything as it is, accept everything as it is. At the same time, we're forgiving ourselves, looking past our distorted self-concepts to the self that God created in us and as us. So the first step in fixing your fucking sirens, man. So we need to recognize, this is a projection. It's not actually how it is, and then you can forgive yourself in order to look past our distorted self-concepts to the self with a capital S that God created in us and as us. This next part talks about sin. Usually people see sin as something that should be punished, and you should feel guilty about it, and like crawl on your knees all the way up to the church and get tomatoes thrown at you because you're a sinner. But this is not the view that the course takes. The course is more geared towards forgiveness and just choosing to correct the error instead of feeling guilty about it, because guilt is a form of self-indulgence, lamenting, or it's like, I'm such a bad person, like I'm so awful, basically, instead of just simply forgiving yourself and correcting. So coming up on the end of the preface. So Christ's Christ's vision is the Holy Spirit's gift, God's alternative to the illusion of separation. It is the one correction for all errors of perception, the reconciliation of the seeming opposites on which the world is based. Its kindly light shows all things from another point of view, reflecting the thought system that arises from knowledge and making return to God not only possible, but inevitable. What was regarded by justice as done by one to someone else now becomes a call for help and for union. Sin, sickness, and attack are seen as misperceptions, calling for remedy through gentleness and love. Our brothers' needs become our own because they are taking the journey with us as we go to God. Without us, they would lose their way. Without them, we can never find our own. I guess what that last part is talking about is our brothers' needs become our own, because when the illusions of perception fall away, the illusions of the opposites, which I guess the most primary would be self versus other, when that falls away, you see your brother as yourself. So when you bring up your brother, or a fellow being, a fellow human, not your blood brother, I guess it's like your brother in the sense that God is the Father. When you bring your brother up, or you forgive your brother, you're forgiving yourself. Forgiveness is unknown in heaven, where the need for it would be inconceivable. Nice. However, in this world, forgiveness is a necessary correction for all the mistakes that we've made. To offer forgiveness is the only way for us to have it, for it reflects the law of heaven that giving and receiving are the same. Heaven is the natural state of all the sons of God as He created them. Such is their reality forever. It has not changed because it has been forgotten. So, I guess what that's saying is, or I guess the, what's the word? Where it's like a comparison? I don't know. I guess the, oh my God, what's the word for when you're comparing two things? It's like a metaphor. That's what it is. The light of the sun doesn't change just because there's clouds in front of it. Just because the darkness is clouding the light doesn't mean that the light has changed or is less. I guess as you illuminate to reality, reaching reality isn't changing reality. It's simply removing the obstacles to seeing it. So instead of replacing clouds with sun, it's simply removing clouds and allowing the sun to shine through. Forgetting all of our misperceptions, and with nothing from the past to hold us back, we can remember God. Beyond this, learning cannot go. When we are ready, God Himself will take the final step in our return to Him. Nothing more to be said, but I will give you my naive interpretation. If God, in essence, is synonymous with self, then as you approach God, it's actually God Himself that takes the final step. So, as you're going up through the levels, as a person, or as like a separate I, as a little I going up through the levels, as the realization of the truth comes in, right before you take the final step to heaven, it's God Himself that takes the final step to Himself. So you recognize that the I that is going to God, there's no I in God, it's just God. So that was the preface. I think it's really important, because without that context of what it's all about, the text is quite ambiguous, quite theoretical, abstract. I read a little bit of it. I read like the first section, but I'm not going to get into it. This is perfect amount of content for this video. I don't know how long it's going to be. If you're still watching, you're a real one. I appreciate you. And I will. Is this it? What else? What else should I say? I guess that's it. I guess if you're still watching, and this is the first video you've seen by us, Truthful Living, you can press subscribe. And even if you don't want to watch the video, then when it comes up in your feed, you just swipe away the notification. But just to help us out, you can subscribe to the channel just in case something like this may interest you again, because let's face it, this is the first video. Let's face it, it's not like a big thing. Let's face it, this is going to be the first video of many. I can't say for sure, but Mark, Pablo, and I are going to be doing some pretty irregular shit, so we will be sharing our experiences of this life on Earth, this funky, crazy life, with you on YouTube for free. It's for free, bro. We're not charging you. I mean, we might start a Patreon because we're going to be broke, because we're going to be living in the forest and we won't be able to make money. But for now, you get to see our content for $0. All you gotta do is press subscribe. Maybe like, maybe comment and say, yo, this video sucked, because then the more comments there are, we get pushed by the algorithm. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed me being way too excited for this shit. And yeah, I mean, I guess I'm appropriately level excited. Yeah. I guess I'm appropriately excited because this is the first episode of many. So, if you enjoyed, please subscribe. It costs $0. And I will see you in the next one.